You're not doing one of those we're recording things like you pulled the last time.
Would I do something like that?
You do it all the time. Catch us off guard.
What episode are we doing now?
Hi, I'm Nick. I think you guys are on 8.
I don't even know. Isn't that terrible?
Don't you like that the guest knows what number we're on?
Well,
Yes.
and here's the thing,
Thank
and that just
goodness.
shows you that I've been paying attention and watching, which is where I'm going to start because I have a bone to pick with you guys. You knew I was coming on.
You made it clear. You
and
did
did a food episode the week before I was on. Like, do you not know me? Do you not know what kind of foodie I am? I mean,
we can talk food anytime you want.
well, now I don't want to. I mean,
I
you
like
guys have already
groceries.
expelled an entire episode on great food without asking my input, but
Oh.
that's okay.
I just want some of your sausage and peppers that I see you posting you eat.
I need to find another keto dish, man. I am about sausage and pepper out.
You are though the most positive posting guy I know. It's either fun things or just food, and how can it get any better?
I know
than
it's
Well, enough people. I was gonna say enough people are posting negative stuff that I don't need to add to that pile. So
that. Boy, amen to that, man. Especially right now. Let's keep away from all that stuff.
Stay
Absolutely.
far away from it.
Jeff, how you doing? Is it episode 7 or 8? Is
I
this
think
8?
it is 8.
Are we really on 8?
I'm gonna have to check the phone.
Here,
I'm going
I'm
with 8.
looking it up right now.
I'm going with 8.
I think Nick may be right here. He's a
Yes.
better follower of the show than
This
we
is
are.
number 8.
See, I
Wow.
subscribed. I went to YouTube and hit the little subscribe
Thanks,
button.
we appreciate it.
I'm a good fellow musician and fellow podcaster now.
That's
I
right.
guess. Yay.
Yeah. Look at that. He says I've never done these kind of things, but look at this mic he's
I know.
using. Look, I mean,
He's
it
got the
looks like he's got his
headphones
own
on.
studio going.
The whole
Yeah,
nine.
it's
Don't
great.
do anything halfway, Scott. Don't do anything halfway.
I love it, man. I love it.
So I guess that we should just kind of start off, Nick. What's going on? I mean, let's talk. I know we don't
Well,
want to talk all about music, and you know we talked about that before, but what kind of projects do you have going on at the moment?
Most people know me from Truk at this point, TRUK, and it's country and it's predominantly acoustic, but we do have full band stuff, as Scott saw the other day. It's a pretty fun band. We are a bunch of goofballs, a bunch of rednecks, and we just get together, pick songs, and try to have some fun.
That's
And it was fun, man. The full band show the other night was off the hook great. I love it.
What about Brad Powers' backing vocals? Oh my goodness!
Unbelievable.
Some of those 3-piece harmonies, I like to stop singing and turn around.
That's
Like,
what
you know
we
it's
did at
good
the
when
table.
the guys in the band are going hell. You
Yeah.
know? It's great.
Wow. Yeah, that was good. It was real good. And then,
And then
you brought,
the other. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Scott.
no, I said, and then you brought Jamie Suttle up to sing a little with you, and you guys doing backing harmonies with her. That was just a killer night.
If you're gonna have somebody that talented in the crowd, you got to bring them on stage. Period.
Yes, you do. Absolutely.
The other big kind of thing I still do every year is Medal of Honor, and it's 80s hair metal, and there's 3 of us, and for whatever reason people like it. We usually do that. We only do it a couple times a year, and it's fun. You know, I'm 46, so that's my time period for music, and every time we get together and we play those shows, it seems like it's everyone just comes out and has a great time. And last year's show was a little bit of a bummer because, you know, COVID and everything, but we still had a good time. So we'll be back out again
yeah,
this
we
year.
got to catch that one. That was the first time we've gotten to see you because it seems like every time you guys would come back to play, I would be playing. So that was actually a weekend that we got to come out and we luckily made it in there early enough because they ended up closing the doors and not letting people in. So
I missed that one, unfortunately, but I've seen a bunch of them, and it's one of the best 80s tribute type shows you can ever go to. I
yeah, it
think.
was fun.
And the same thing goes for those Medal of Honor guys as it does for Truk. It's fun. And with me and music at this point of my life, I'm not doing it if it ain't fun.
Right. Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
exactly why we do it, for fun, right?
Don't you think when it becomes work, it's just mundane at that point, it becomes a job, and it's like, where's the next gig, and I don't even know where I'm going and all that. It just seems like the folks who overplay sometimes, and I don't want to knock anybody that's a full-time musician, but it's like they just get worn out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And at this point in my life, I don't have to do that. I don't have to have 8 million gigs, and I'm not dependent on it for money. So I'm only going to do the ones that are fun. And I've been in 8 million bands, so there's been a time in my life where I was so serious, and like if you missed practice, we were gonna fight, and we just argue about stuff, and I'm not doing that
No,
anymore. Not at
that
this
takes
point.
a lot out of it, especially, I mean, because, music is supposed to make you happy. And so if music's not making you happy, and that's why I ended up leaving, a couple of my bands in the past. It was just, that's what it got to those points. And it's like, guys, this is, it's supposed to be fun. It's not fun anymore. If you guys want to keep doing it, good luck. So I totally get you, man.
And that shows to the audience too. I mean, you can tell if you've followed a band for a long time, you can tell when things are not fun anymore on that stage, where the guys used to do it for fun and they play and they'd laugh. And pretty soon it's just everybody goes through the motion. Okay, we're going to take a break. I mean, it's like just kind of sucks the life out of the whole thing when a few players are just tired of it. And you guys, you guys both played. You've played, where you've played a lot. And Nick, you've been in, like you said, a ton of bands.
Every band. Every band in the area I've been in.
I just want to know when you really started playing. That's my question to you, and we'll get off whatever music topic we went to. But I don't know a lot about you before I met you in Medal of Honor. So what'd you do for all those years before?
Well, what's funny is when I originally started out wanting to be in bands when I was probably 16, I wanted to be a lead singer. Problem is, I'm 5'6" and very svelte, as you can see on the camera. And back in the late 80s, early 90s, you had to have long hair, be really good looking. It didn't matter if you could sing. If you looked good in a pair of pants and you had really long hair, you were the lead singer. So I joined a band and they were like, well, we need a bass player. And I was like, well, I know G, C chords, and from there on, I started playing bass. Mostly through the mid 90s and early 2000s was when I really kind of started getting out and playing with bands a lot. The first really big band that I played with was a country band called Highway Junkies. And we got to do a lot of national opening acts, which was really fun, really big acts. And then after that, I joined Ithaca, and everybody in town knows who Ithaca is.
Right.
I was in Ithaca for a few years, and Medal of Honor, and then a lot of original like metal bands like Engine of Chaos. I was in a band called Standing 8. We could sit here and I could probably name tons of bands. I've done a lot of fill-in work too, and that's where I have the most fun is when a band will call me on, Wednesday and say, we don't have bass player this Saturday. Can you do it? They give me 45 songs. I cram like I'm, got a test in high school the next day, and I show up and play the show, and there's something really weirdly exhilarating about it and exciting, and it's kind of fun to do. So I don't have a gig this weekend if anybody needs a bass player. Oh, wait a minute. They're not going to see this till Friday. Shoot.
Shameless
Well,
plug.
then you
Shameless
just
plug.
have a lot of homework to cram for that night or
I've done it.
Saturday. So,
But no, we can talk music as much as you want to, or, one of the nice things about being in all those bands is I've made a lot of like really good, fun contacts, a lot of friends. I try not to leave a band with a bad taste in my mouth so that I do get callbacks if they need somebody. Or if somebody's like, well, hey, we want to put Wheeler in the band, what do you think of him? Hopefully no one's saying that, oh, that guy's a jerk.
not to your face, right?
But at least not to my face.
And you were talking bass. I mean, obviously that's your instrument. That's what you play, and you played a new bass on Saturday. We'll get to that in a minute. But I wanted to mention our show this week. We do Top 5 Tuesday, and we talked most classic rock songs with the best bass lines.
Oh
in them.
man,
And,
I know where this is going. I think
I couldn't get over. I couldn't get over the amount of people, and we talk classic rock, so it went back to the Who, it went back to Queen, Another One Bites the Dust, obviously things like that. But the amount of songs out there that really have a positive bass line in them that a lot of people didn't realize, and people were bringing up some cool things like Thin Lizzy, Boys Are Back in Town, and those kind of things. And as a bass player, those songs are probably cool to you. You get to be featured a little bit more and play those. And in Medal of Honor, man, you slay some of those bass lines in those 80s, as we refer to them, hair metal tunes.
Well, I appreciate it because most of that stuff's just pedaling A.
Yeah, but you still, I mean, you're the driving force out there. The first time I saw you, I said, man, this, and I said, this little guy, and you were joking about, what'd you say, svelte or something there?
Svelte,
But,
yeah.
But I used to call
swimmer's
it
body.
Used to buy the pants called Husky, back in the day. So we'll call it Husky. But I mean, you just have that persona of a rocker, but yet you can play all kinds of stuff here. You're playing a jazz bass in a country band that sounded bluegrassy the other night in many songs.
Well, and
That's cool.
that bass is actually old, but I have played like my more rocker basses, like my Spectre Legends, that have the really like crazy wood grain and the crazy purple like red color. And then people see me and I'm wearing like an I Died Trying shirt like I got on now, and this guy's like super heavy music, and they're like, "But you play country?" Well, you don't understand. I play everything, and all the good musicians play
That's
everything.
right.
You know, the ones who are like, "Oh, I only play death black metal," you know, they may
Yeah.
be pretty proficient at their instrument, but they're really not good musicians. I want to be challenged. I want somebody to say, learn this Lady Gaga song. And I have. I've learned Lady Gaga songs. I think that's great. And I think that makes you a better, more well rounded, pun intended, musician.
Yeah, because you got to sit there and take, especially if you're taking something like that, maybe, or you take some of these other little poppy songs that are just synthesizers and produced, electronically, and then they're like, "Hey, play that live." You really got to work on stuff. So, I mean, that's cool, man. But speaking of instruments and different things like that, I know you also play guitar too, right?
And kind
Kind
of.
of, sort of. You just play a little bit.
Yeah, I make attempts.
But
He told me once he dabbles in guitar.
Yes, I dabbles.
Yes.
He dabbles.
how many guitars and basses do you have?
Mostly basses, probably 7 or 8. I'm really not one of those great big giant collectors who have just rooms full of it. I mean, I know those
Yep.
guys, and most of the stuff I have are working instruments. Almost all of my basses, save two, get used on a pretty regular rotation. I have a really cool instrument that is a cigar box bass, and it's made to be an upright bass, and that thing's cool. And I'd love to play it out sometime, but I'd have to try to find the right like venue for that. Few guitars. I have a mandolin. I have an ocarina. Do you know what an ocarina is?
I don't.
Is
Yeah.
that a dance?
No, it's close.
Oh, that's
it's
the Macarena.
it's a clay pipe that they mostly use in like Native American or in the Ren Fest. If you go to the Ren Festival, you'll hear them blowing on the ocarina. So I have a bagpipe chanter, and I tried playing it, and it was terrible. I can play anything with strings, and anything with a reed is just like a mystery to me. Keys. I had drums for a while, but I had to give those away. Would love to have a drum set again.
Just get you an electronic one.
My
hear
wife
that?
would not, my wife would not go for that.
Get you an electronic one, and then
Electric.
you can play it without bothering anybody.
But she always jokes that I'm trying to own one of every instrument, and she's not really wrong.
Well, you can jump right in on the open mic thing then. If you own every instrument, you just set it up and let people play all night.
Yeah, there you go. Just bring it all.
great.
And
Yeah, that's a lot
It's
of
cool.
load in and load out.
we actually went to this cool place in Knoxville called the Jig and Reel, and what's cool about this restaurant down there is they have instruments on the wall, and they will let you take an instrument off and play on their
Oh, that's
stage,
cool.
like while you're eating dinner. You're just like, I'm gonna grab that guitar and go up on stage. You can. It's pretty cool. It's called
Wow.
Boyd's Jig and Reel.
I might have to check that
Knoxville,
place
Tennessee.
out sometime when we go through Tennessee.
Yes, that's cool. That sounds good. And Nick, you're supporting local. I see your barrel hat on and supporting that. And you do get around town a lot. I notice you're out there. And since we're talking around town, you get out to see other musicians and support musicians a lot. And I admire that a whole lot with you.
Well, and what's nice is that I've been in a lot of bands, like we talked about before, and sometimes we go through periods where the bands are fighting each other all the time, or there's competition for this gig or whatever. Seems like lately everyone's getting along. We go see each other. There's a core like group of musicians who will, like, if I'm not playing, I'm going to go see you. And I try to get out and see as many people as I can because I love music. And then if the problem that, like you said, is like a lot of times when people have gigs and you're like, man, I really want to see that, but I have a gig. So
Yeah,
I try to take advantage of the times I
that
don't.
one where you actually came up close to my house, and I was like, oh, the one time that you guys are playing again, and you're like 10 minutes from me.
Well, I've been trying to get into the trivia that Scott does, but man, that's like, you got a year-long waiting list for one of those tables. I'm gonna have to find a team to get on with.
It's fun. It is, and I get to see a lot of musicians there too. And I thank everybody that does drop in and support. I try to support through the show and try to support music, and they get out to support the trivia sometimes, and they have a blast, especially the music trivia. These guys get into competitions between Brandon Harvey. He's one that comes every week on Wednesday in the summer, and let there be another musician in the house. He and Larry Offner go battle to battle on those nights, trying to determine who can win out on the music trivia and who knows more. And Brandon's in the R&B side, and Larry's in the metal side and the hairband side and everything else. So it's cool. I appreciate that shout out there, Nick. Nick, what do you do besides? I know you love music. You go out to see music. You do that kind of thing. But what are some of your other likes in life? I know you stay busy, man. You work a lot and all that.
Well, yeah, I got the job, the regular 9 to 5er. I try to do art, and I paint a little bit. The one thing that I've been doing for the past couple years that's kind of fun is leather work, like very basic stuff, just small like bracelets and things like that. I don't know. Stuff to keep you busy, but to express. I mean, because I think all musicians have that artistic thing that you don't always get out through your instrument, and so I found that painting, drawing, that kind of stuff, and shooting. I love shooting guns. Hope there's no anti-gun folks listening. But
be calm.
Anything that gets anything that gets me outside, anything that gets me away from the computer, ironically enough, while we're sitting here staring at computers, is good with me.
And you boys look good too, by the way, on the computer. I just want you to know.
Oh, thanks.
Well, Jeff does. I mean, Jeff's carrying it because
Yeah, well, he's got the looks. He's got the hair.
It's the
my
hair and
hair's
everything,
gone.
right?
It's out. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to.
I don't get hired for looks. I don't think so. It's that sweet angelic voice.
That's what it is, and your bass playing skills. And look and see, as soon as we
No,
said
no,
that,
no,
look,
no. There's way better
what happened
bass
to my
players in this
camera?
town than me. Nobody's hiring me for that.
all right.
Killer harmonies, my friend. Killer harmonies.
Have you always lived in Dayton? Are you from here?
Yes, absolutely. Was born in East Dayton, and then lived in the quaint little town of Northridge till I was 13. And we moved back to East Dayton, where I grew up till I was in high school. So yeah, I've always lived in Dayton.
I always see that you post a lot of stuff about Dayton, and Dayton strong.
Yeah, I'm kind of proud of my little town.
Whatever.
I have an Ohio tattoo, and I don't know. I think it's the fact that I've been around the world makes me appreciate where I'm from a lot more. I think sometimes when you're from a town like Dayton, it's easy for you to go, oh, I hate this place. I don't want to be here anymore. But then when you go to other places and you're there for a little while and you're like, oh, I really miss home. I really miss that certain restaurant
Right.
or that certain bar or those, the folks you see every day. So I love East Dayton. I love Dayton, period. Love Ohio.
You're always so happy. You were talking about that earlier about your post, and it's always you do always have the positive posts, on your social media, because there is way too much negativity out there and hate.
Well, yeah, there's something to talk about. I think that the problem with social media is that people allow themselves to be swayed by it. And what I mean by that is you allow what you see on your page. You allow the people who are around you and the people that you bring in. And so when I see people say, oh, it's this platform's fault or this platform's fault, I don't agree. I think that if you're scrolling your timeline and you're seeing a lot of things that trigger you or make you angry, well, get rid of them. Why are you keeping them there? Life's too short to be angry all the time.
Yes.
That's good philosophy. It is. And you kind of disagreed with the three of us when we had Shane DeMoss on, because we all said if we didn't have a business presence on there, we probably wouldn't be on there. And you kind of went the other spectrum. You said, I want to be on there. I just surround myself with the happy things. And
that's
and
correct.
That's a great way to look at it.
Well, I mean, and you, again, utilize it for what you want it to be. I get on there because I am able to connect with people all over the world. I have friends in England and New Zealand. I wouldn't get to talk to those guys if not for social media platforms. People always want to come see me play for whatever reason. And so it's a very easy way for them to come, figure out where we are. And yeah, I like to debate sometimes too, but you have to be careful about that because anymore emotions run high and
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
You know, you could post that the skies are pretty blue today, and there's somebody on there that's going to try to get behind a keyboard and argue with you anymore. I mean, it's just it's such a shame to see that happen, and the division between friends people who've been friends for years, who aren't friends because of a post now, that somebody made or something like that. It's the most minuscule thing. I love to post that meme by that's Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump, that said, and suddenly everyone was offended by everything,
Right.
but it's the truth sometimes. And it's just a shame that happens because, and, I've lost friends over things. I don't ever get political on Facebook. I can tell you that. I mean, in my shows or in my private life, that is my personal opinion.
absolutely.
And I don't need to sway your opinion. You've got your opinion. You're a grown man, both of you. You're not going to change because I say change.
I've
Right.
never once saw a meme on Facebook and I went, "Oh man, have I been wrong for a long time."
Yeah.
Wow,
No.
thank you. You've opened my eyes up.
Yeah. It's some enlightening light bulb that turned on just that moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Your meme that was regurgitated 20 times and your YouTube link, it swayed
That's
me.
it.
It
That's what
swayed
did
me.
it. It turns you to the other side. And, so I totally agree with that. And that's something that, I mean, if I were actually on Facebook or something personally, I would probably just do that. Start deleting everybody and taking everybody off, But I'm still, even, we talk about being careful. Don't ever post anything political. I don't ever post anything on either side, one way or another. I don't like comments, whether it's with the band's page or anything like that. Just steer clear of that. So,
Unless you're into it.
Yeah.
And then if you're into it, by all means, you go for it.
if
I
that's
just
your
know
cause, right?
I just know me personally, I don't want to see that on mine. So when I see people that's all they post, I just politely remove them. And it doesn't mean I don't like you anymore. Doesn't mean we're not friends. If I see you in the street, I'll still hug you, but I just don't want to see your crap all day
right.
on my timeline. Sorry, I have a tendency to F-bomb and I just caught myself from doing it. So
You know, what's funny too is you can post things, and what's funny with me is I have a cute little granddaughter, and I'll post a picture of her and get 200 likes on it right away. It's like boom, everybody loves it because it's just a picture of a cute kid, and you could post something that's the most poignant, just feeling you have in life, and two people comment on it or like it because people are just sick and tired, I think, of everybody putting their life out there. And no offense to anybody that's watching today, but I really don't need to know that you went to the bathroom and then you walked into the kitchen and then the next thing on your story was I opened the refrigerator and there wasn't something there. And oh my gosh, it just seems like we've lost our sense of home identity. It's just everybody's stuff's out there for everybody. And that kind of bugs me sometimes. I support anybody that's lost a family member, or they say that on there, but this, what do we call them? Secret post, or what's the word for it? I can't come up with the word right now, but subliminal type post that, somebody will post on there and say unspoken prayers needed or something. And you're like, and everybody on there, what happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? It's almost like watching a TV show waiting on the big ending, and it's just silly. Social media can be good. I connect with all my family. I mean, that I would not see or know that their kids playing Little League baseball and just hit a home run today or any of that. I wouldn't know any of that. But, for the most part, sometimes it's just flat annoying to me.
I am there for food and kitties. If you've got a kitty picture, I'm going to like it. And if you got food, I'm going to like
I
it.
know you're a big cat
Meow.
lover.
All right.
And
Everything else can be.
I don't care for cats, but I can get sucked into cat videos and watch it. I mean, who can't? I mean, they're great.
Okay, I will say one thing that's kind of contradictory to my peace and love thing is if somebody posts one of those World Star fight videos, I will watch every one of them, and I have no idea why. It is so like against my entire being, but my entire being. But like when two dudes are just scrapping, I'll watch the whole video. I don't know why.
I'm into the ridiculousness
I'm
stuff,
weird.
the crazy things that people do and put on video that should never be put on video, like, crashing their bicycle off a roof.
I love
and things
that. Like the
that.
Army
It's like,
fails and the AFV.
Yes.
That just, and it's hilarious. And I mean, I can watch that stuff all day long. So,
Things that
If
make
social
you laugh.
media
it's
was
terrible,
just
but if
that.
somebody falls, I'll replay it 100 times.
Yep. And that's why those things go viral. I think people are looking for something to laugh at, sometimes just something to give them a little humor. And especially in this day and age, things have been so chaotic with the COVID and then, elections and everything else. It's just been rough out there for people. And hopefully we can find a place to just be happy and keep moving and we get rid of this COVID and play music and enjoy life a little bit.
Yeah, I need hugs. I need hugs and handshakes, man. I miss them
I know.
so much.
I tried to hug you Saturday, but you had that bass that had the neck on it that was the size of a sequoia tree. So I couldn't really get to you.
Yeah, those Fender Mexican Jazzes are huge.
How'd you get your hand around that thing?
I don't know, and I've got like little bitty midget hand or little people hands. Sorry.
Yeah, can't say midget. Carney hands.
Yeah, I do have carnies. Okay, when I was a teenager, one of my very first jobs was actually working in a carnival.
Wow.
There's the little ones that go around during the summer. Well, I don't know if they still do or not, but I actually ran a game, and it was a fun game. It was an easy game. You blow up balloons, you put them on the wall, and people would throw darts, and then they get whatever poster they wanted. I did that for like 2 summers as like a teenager. It was wonderful.
You got to travel
Get
around?
to meet a lot of people.
Yeah, we traveled around, and basically I was a 15-year-old kid with no supervision and money in my pocket. You know how that went.
Mm-hmm. There
And
you
you're
have
still
it.
alive today.
Somehow. That's probably why I'm immune to the COVID. Knock on wood.
That's right. Well, you said you...
My
Hey,
carny
Jeff.
days.
Jeff, I want to tell you, speaking of midgets, not
Wait
to
a
throw it at
second.
Jeff,
Hold on.
I do want to say
Point Scott.
we were watched by Rob Garrett the other day, who took offense to us talking about his first band, Midget Moses, when we were interviewing Shane, and what an appropriate name that was for Rob's band. But no offense to you, Jeff. You little people are all friendly, and I love you. All right,
Just a
I
few
do.
more inches and I'd have to sit in a booster seat. I mean, so...
That's why I
But you
love
got
I love
great
being
hair.
around Jeff and Rob Garrett because, like,
You-
I'm usually the shortest musician around, and those guys come around. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that.
Hey, we do what we can,
You've got great hair, brother. I do love you, though.
Does that make me look shorter if I have long hair? I mean, so...
No. No, and if they're ever typecasting for any of the new Lord of the Rings or any of that, you're in, my friend. You are in it. They are
Man,
going to put
Scott's on a
you
roast
Oh,
up.
he
fest.
is.
I love Jeff Edwards, man. He's a good dude, and we enjoy
This
this
is fun.
little thing we've put together with whatever
I love
we
it
call
too.
it.
I mean, that's why I've watched not all the episodes, but I've watched I think the past few, and I was like, man, I gotta get on there. I don't know why. Like nobody wants to really hear what I got to say. I just thought it'd be fun to
Well,
be
nobody
on.
cares what we say
We
either.
just sit
you
around and
know?
drink.
It's just...
I know. Like I said, next time, if there's a next
Yeah.
time, I'm bringing bourbon.
Well, we're having Blanton's
I was gonna
today.
say we talked about doing a bourbon tasting thing where we get together. I mean, we'd like to do live in person and set up a camera and sit there and record everybody drinking bourbon. So
I volunteer as tribute.
Everybody spends the night at Jeff's house because we're going to
There you
drink a
go.
lot of bourbon.
yep, or we'll go to Lindsay's house because he's
what
even got
else?
more bourbon than me. So
Have either of you guys done the bourbon trail down in Louisville?
down in Louisville,
Yeah.
um,
What I
you
say,
said
Louis.
Louisville or something.
Louisville.
From Ohio, man. Louis.
But I've done a few of the.
Louisville.
I've been to a few. I've been to Buffalo Trace and Makers and Old Forester. I didn't do the tour in Angels Envy, and I haven't done I haven't done the tour in all of them because they're all kind of the same. Makers I did years ago. That's actually a really cool tour. I did Buffalo. That was a really neat tour. We did a cocktail class at Old Forester, which was really neat. They had like a master, I guess, mixologist created this drink and got to, you mix the whole drink and you do everything and then you get to taste it and you take a glass home and different things. So, yeah, I've been to a few places down there. So It's
something I've always wanted to do. I've really, I've only really come into my own on bourbon recently, and I've been sticking mostly with Woodford just because their double oaked is like one of my favorite things ever. And I need to go do one of these, or do a tasting or something like that, just because I need to expand my horizons with
I'm
bourbon.
with you on that. I haven't done that yet either. We were in Gatlinburg a month or two back, and we did the moonshine tasting thing. That was fun.
Mhm.
And I know it's not the bourbon. It's just, I mean, that stuff's pretty commercialized, but we had a blast listening to the guy talk about the different flavors of the moonshine and taste them, and just hanging out in this little distillery, Old Smoky, I think it was called, there in
I've heard of that
Gatlinburg.
one.
Cool stuff.
So, yeah, you guys actually
It was good.
should do it. I mean, like I said, the Makers one is really cool. It's just neat, neat history. Buffalo Trace, of course, is a great tour. They have a haunted thing, I think, like around October. I think they do something down there. So that we tried to go this year, but then of course it never opened. But yeah, you should definitely check it out.
What else we got today, fellas?
I don't know. Oh, I wanted to ask Nick about him traveling around the world. What took you around
Oh,
everywhere? I mean, where have you been?
well, not all over the world, unfortunately. There's still a lot more places I'd like to go, but the big trip that we did quite a few years ago was for our honeymoon. We actually went to England, Scotland, and Ireland.
Nice.
That was a blast.
Yes.
We actually have friends that live in Nottingham, England, and so we got to visit them. But we went to London, which, London's a big city, and I could, leave it for all I care because I'm just not a big city guy. But Nottingham was great. Edinburgh, Scotland was fantastic. Such nice people. The best food I've ever eaten in my life. Dublin was cool because, I mean, if you're going to go to Ireland, you got to go to Dublin. And we actually drove a car from Dublin to the coast. And I had never driven, a car on the wrong side of the car on the wrong side of the road. May have mirror checked somebody going around the cul-de-sac because, I was on the wrong side of the car on the wrong side of the road. But it was a great trip. And, my wife and I in the past few years have gone to Oregon. We've gone to Canada. Nova Scotia is beautiful. If you've never been to Nova Scotia, it's one of my favorite places I've ever been in my life, as was the coast of Oregon. We got to see both, Pacific and Atlantic Oceans within a year. It was pretty cool. So traveling's fun, man. I always tell people it's like if you get a chance to go anywhere, do it. Get in the car and drive, even if it's a day trip. Just take a day trip up to Cleveland or something.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why I'm kind of getting. I've moved every few years, being in the military, and then being here now, waiting for the kids to get older. It's like this is the longest I've been anywhere since before I left home when I was 20. So being here this long, what are we pushing? Gosh, 15 years now. So I feel like it's been forever. But yes, love traveling. It's great. And that's true. If you get the chance, go. I mean, why just stay and see the same thing all the time? Go experience something new. Meet people.
And like I said earlier, I think it makes you appreciate home then. But man, and that food, anywhere we go, I got to eat something. So, and there's so much good food all over the place, and even within the country, going to different regions. Last year, Truk, we went to San Antonio. It was right about this time. It was because it was before COVID, and we went down there to do a show because guitar player Kenny, he's from San Antonio, and man, Tex-Mex food.
Oh yeah,
I could just eat that all day long.
Stuff.
A lot of good food down there. We just got back from Texas not long ago. We were down there for the holidays, and I mean, that's all. It seems like that's all we did. We were there for a week, and it just seemed like everything we did was revolving around food all the time.
Man, I got like a $6.99 fajita dish that came out on a plate this big, with every fixin' you could come up with. $6.99, and like homemade tortillas and homemade guacamole and just all this ridiculous food. And we had a show. I was like, I'm not going to be able to sing later. We were so full, but it was so delicious.
That's kind of my bucket list thing to do. I've been retired a few years, but I want to get a motorhome or one of those big diesel pushers. I want to travel around the country just doing live videos about stopping at restaurants, kind of like the diners, drive-ins, and dives thing. But I want to just go and rate the food and all that. That would be so much fun. And, you know, I like groceries too. So definitely be good. Some good stuff. And you're right. There are so many places to try food. When we lived in Florida, there was so much, you know, and seafood, you know, you think a lot of people think of seafood as your Red Lobster and all that. And you go down there and some of the dishes they make and, you know, some of the Caribbean dishes and all, it just amazing, or Caribbean, depending on how you want to call that. It's just cool. And Key West is one of my favorite places because the food is so diverse there. You have the Spanish flair, you have the Cuban flair, and you know.
Oh man, Cuban food. Oh, like a Cuban panini with the pickle and the mustard. And see, I'm telling you, man, you should have had me on the food show.
Man.
Hey, we need to bring him on another food show. I mean,
maybe that's what we do. Maybe we pick a restaurant or pick a place. Or maybe we can hop around and we actually go live and we take a camera and set it on the table and set up a podcast at some restaurants and sit there and talk over a meal.
That'd be good
and
stuff.
Now, Nick Wheeler, our food correspondent. Thanks, Scott.
Back to you in the studio, Nick.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were in Maine last year, too, when we went to Nova Scotia. We went to both Nova Scotia and Maine, and I'm telling you, I ate more lobster on that trip than I've ever eaten in my life. Every variation. It was funny because it was like the last couple of days and we're like, you know what we haven't done? We haven't just eaten a steamed lobster. So like for our anniversary, we actually got steamed lobster. It was wonderful. And what was great is we were in this little like shanty restaurant in the middle of nowhere, Maine. And we made the mistake of asking for lobster bibs because we don't friggin' know. And the lady looked at us and goes, no, what do you need a bib for? And so we're flinging lobster all over the place. It was wonderful.
That's awesome. Man, that's another place I have not been is Maine. I'd love to go there. I heard it's beautiful.
Yes, I need to go there as well. I've been everywhere from Virginia to California and everything south, but I've never been to the Northwest or the Northeast or anything like that. So
we picked up a car in Boston and drove up, which if you have the opportunity to drive to some of these places, do it. This is the whole way up. It's like beautiful scenery, big trees, just gorgeous, and then moose signs everywhere. And I never saw a moose, but I was like so hoping that we were going to run into a moose. Not literally because that would wreck your car, but you know what I wanted to see a moose so bad, and we just never got to see one. And we made at least 100 Sasquatch jokes because that's just
because that's where they are, right?
Speaking of moose, our son that's stationed in Alaska near Anchorage, he posted the other day. Couple moose just hanging out in the front yard, just standing out there. You know, I mean, it's a whole different world. We're going to get to go up there for a wedding in August. He's getting married,
awesome.
and that'll be beautiful. I'm looking so forward to that. Never been to Alaska. Been as far as Seattle, but never been to Alaska. So I'm looking forward to adding that to the state bucket list.
I've never been to Alaska, and it's a place I would love to go.
I tried to get stationed there.
Yeah, the pictures are beautiful.
I had friends who were.
Were you trying to get?
Oh no, I was saying I've got friends who've been stationed there and who were stationed there, and I tried to get in station anywhere. I didn't care. I wanted to go overseas. That's why I joined the military, so I could travel the world. And I went to California. That's the furthest I got. You know, I got to go to Kuwait, but you know, I didn't get. Never got to go overseas, but yeah, I would have loved to have gone up there. Well, guys,
here we are.
I think this has been about it.
I appreciate you guys having me on. Thanks for having me.
My Blanton's it's about done.
Need time for a refill.
It's all about timing. But thanks for coming on, Nick. Glad you.
No, I would love to come back anytime. I love
your
idea. I love your idea of bourbon tasting. You know, let's do an entire podcast of drinking. I'm here for that.
So maybe that needs to be set up in the near future. That and we'll do the food one. Go do the food one. I think that would be fun.
Food, booze, I'm in.
With that microphone he's got too, he can do weather reports in between. if you don't, if you didn't mind. Here's a look. It's
raining sideways.
We're in, man. We're in. Sounds fun.
Oh, again, thanks, Nick, for coming on. We appreciate it. You can check him out on his Instagram at
Truk, TRUK, Medal of Honor. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, you name it. I'm up there. I'm on Twitter. I don't even use it hardly. I get on there just to read stuff. But yeah, look me up.
In Wheeler 8, right?
In Wheeler 8, and that's all. That's pretty much throughout all of my social media. If you look up In Wheeler 8, you'll probably find
Good
me.
Deal.
In Wheeler and the number 8.
Good deal.
Perfect. You can find Jeff where? Where can we
At
find you,
Jeff
Jeff?
Evers Music. And you can also find me on Route 88's Facebook page. And you can find the YouTube channel, but it's not like actually named. But, of course, we'll send the links out on everything. What about you, Scott? Where can we find you?
On all the platforms at All Around Town Radio. Everything. Twitter. You name it. I don't tweet much
I don't
either.
tweet.
Not a tweeter.
I opened an account
no
and I
tweeting.
said, this
No
is ridiculous. Does anybody use it? So
Seriously, like you'll see a post of mine, it'll be like 6 months ago, and I'll finally get back on. I'll be like, yeah, is anybody even still here?
Great.
Not like Facebook. I'm on there like 20 million times a day because I'm like a teenager with this stuff. So
Too much screen time.
that's
Too
right.
much. You get that notification. You've been
Yeah.
on too
your
long.
screen
You go.
time
You
has
go
gone
now.
up 30%.
Yeah, you go now, Nick Wheeler. You've been on too long.
All right. Well,
Thanks,
we
guys.
appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest
You
of your
guys
day.
too. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button. Follow all of us. Hit everybody up. So
Every Friday at 10 a.m. we're
That's
dropping
right.
these on YouTube, Facebook, you name it. It'll be there.
until next time, we'll see ya.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.